I need you to stop what you're doing right now. Because what is happening to the United States in 2026 is not normal. And the people who should be screaming the loudest about it are working with skeleton crews, skipping weather balloon launches, and running on fumes. America is not facing one storm system. America is not facing a bad week. America is facing a relentless, season-long assault from multiple extreme weather systems hitting the same country, back to back, with almost no breathing room between them. And the warning infrastructure that is supposed to protect you is stretched to its breaking point. Let me give you the full picture, because no single broadcast is connecting these dots for you. Let's start at the beginning of 2026, January 22nd through the 27th. A massive winter storm crosses the United States and Atlantic Canada. More than 173 people dead. Not 10, not 30, 173. 12 emergency declarations approved. Federal disaster assistance extended to multiple states, including Tennessee, Mississippi, and South Carolina. That was January. February brought a nor'easter. March brought a blizzard across the high plains to the Great Lakes, rated Category 5 on the Regional Snowfall Index. The first Category 5 snowstorm in 10 years. Then March brought something else, something that should have stopped every American in their tracks. On March 5th through 7th, a tornado outbreak tore across 6 states, 32 confirmed tornadoes, 8 deaths. An EF2 tornado in Fairview, Oklahoma, hit a car on U.S. Highway 60. A mother and her 13-year-old daughter, both killed. An EF3 in Union City, Michigan, with 160 mph winds. The strongest Michigan tornado in 49 years. 3 people dead, including a 12-year-old boy. Another EF3 struck Beggs, Oklahoma. 2 more killed. 8 deaths in one outbreak, and the season was barely 3 months old. Then March 10th happened, and everything changed. On that single day, a second wave of the same system produced 106 tornadoes. One of them was rated EF5, 200 miles per hour. Wells County, Indiana, a 14.6-mile path of total destruction. Let that sink in. EF5, the strongest tornado rating that exists. The last EF5 in the United States before this one was May 20th, 2013, Moore, Oklahoma. The country had gone 13 years without one. And then in the middle of an already active outbreak in early March, Indiana got hit with one of the most violent storms the atmosphere is capable of producing. The March outbreaks alone killed 11 Americans. And then April arrived. And April did not let up, not even close. In the NWS, Chicago forecast area alone, there were 11 severe weather events by April 19th. The average for that area through all of April is 4, 11 versus 4. The Storm Prediction Center placed that area under a level 3 enhanced risk, or higher, on an unusual number of days. Tornado and severe thunderstorm watches had already reached 14 just for that one forecast zone. NWS Chicago had issued 128 severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings by April 19th, 128, a record high number through that date. Then April 23rd arrived, and a 6-day severe weather sequence began across the central United States that meteorologists are still trying to fully document. 6 consecutive days, April 23rd through the 28th. Across North and Central Texas alone, 287 storm reports were logged. 287. 2 people killed, at least 11 injured. 226 reports of large hail, some up to softball size. 37 reports of wind damage with gusts over 60 miles per hour. NWS Fort Worth issued 111 individual warnings over those 6 days. 111 warnings. Just one forecast office, just 6 days. On April 23rd, a tornado carved across Vance Air Force Base in Enid, Oklahoma. On April 24th, a single supercell produced 4 separate tornadoes across Jack, Wise, and Parker counties in Texas. On April 26th, another supercell spawned an EF3 tornado near Mineral Wells, Texas, with peak winds estimated at 145 km/h. This was the strongest tornado in Parker County since April 25th, 1990. The strongest in Palo Pinto County since May 12th, 1982. Ancient records shattered in a single evening. On April 28th, Mineral Wells got hit again. An EF3 tornado ripped through 2 to 3 miles of the city. Residential areas, industrial zones, all of it. 5 people hospitalized. And hail up to 5 inches in diameter, reported in Johnson County. That is bigger than a baseball. That is approaching tennis ball size, falling from the sky at terminal velocity. And here is the thing that nobody's putting together right now. Those 6 days in Texas were not an isolated event. They were part of a 98 tornado outbreak sequence across the entire central United States. From April 23rd through the 28th, 98 tornadoes in 6 days. That is a season's worth of destruction for many regions, compressed into less than a week. Now I need to tell you something that is going to change how you look at all of this. Because there is a second story running underneath the storm story. And it is the story that veterans of American meteorology are calling a genuine crisis. The National Weather Service is the agency that stands between you and a tornado you cannot see coming. They are the ones who issue the warnings. They are the ones who launch the weather balloons that feed the computer models that tell forecasters what the atmosphere is about to do. And right now, as all of this is happening, the National Weather Service is operating under the worst staffing conditions in modern memory. Some NWS offices have experienced staffing reductions of more than 40%. Read that number again, 40%. At least 8 offices stopped operating 24 hours a day this spring because they did not have enough people to staff around the clock. More than 40% of the country's weather forecasting offices had vacancy rates above 20% in May. Weather balloon launches, which are supposed to happen twice a day at every forecast office across the country, are being skipped. Not occasionally, regularly. And where are these cancellations clustered? Directly over the center of the country, right upwind from Tornado Alley. A veteran meteorologist with 55 years of forecasting experience wrote publicly this spring that he has never seen the NWS perform at this level. His words, not a political statement, not a media headline, a man who has been making storm warnings since 1971 saying he has never seen it this bad. All of the living former directors of the National Weather Service, every single one of them, signed a joint letter this year. The letter said their worst nightmare is that forecast offices will be so understaffed that there will be needless loss of life. Those are not partisan words. Those are the people who built the system. And they are terrified. The Doppler radar network, the only tool forecasters can use to spot tornadoes inside storm systems, depends on electronics technicians to keep it operational. That workforce is down at least 16%, which means if a radar goes down during an active outbreak, there may not be staff or money to fix it in time. Think about what that means. A radar goes dark, a storm rolls through, and the warning that should have given you 12 minutes of lead time never comes. Because the screen was blank, this is not theoretical. This is the documented reality of what is happening to American weather infrastructure during the most active severe weather period in years. And now let's bring it all the way to right now, because the cold front that ended the April 23rd through 28th outbreak is already cycling back. The Storm Prediction Center's Day 4 through 8 outlook, issued in the early hours of May 5th, describes a pattern where mean upper troughing will persist east of the Rockies through the entire period. That is the atmospheric setup that has been fueling this entire spring. It is not leaving. By Sunday and Monday, another cold front is forecast to move east and southeast across much of the United States. Another front, another round. The setup favors severe thunderstorm potential across the south-central United States, including the southern plains and lower Mississippi Valley. MLK values of 1,500 to 2,000 joules per kilogram in the warm sector. Bulk shear around 60 knots. The SPC notes that any storms that do mature should be severe and capable of all hazards. All hazards. That phrase means hail. It means damaging winds. It means tornadoes. From central Arkansas into western Tennessee, low and mid-level flow will be strongest, and a strong tornado is described as possible with a sustained, discrete supercell. This is happening. Right behind the exhaustion of the April outbreak, right into a region already saturated by weeks of storms, right on top of a forecasting infrastructure operating with critical vacancies. Now I want to pull back and give you the number that should reframe everything you just heard. The 5-year annual average for billion-dollar weather disasters in the United States is now 23 events per year. 23. The historical average from 1980 to 2024 was 9. So we have gone from 9 major billion-dollar disasters per year to 23, more than double. And this year, with an EF5 in March, 6 straight days of severe storms in April, a 98 tornado outbreak sequence, and another front already loading to fire again in May, we are on track to stay right inside that new, brutal normal. There is one more thing I need to say before this is over, because it matters. The La Niña to El Niño transition that is currently underway in the Pacific Ocean is the same atmospheric pattern that preceded the devastating 1974 super outbreak and the 2011 super outbreak. I am not saying 2026 is going to be 1974. I am not saying it is going to be 2011, but the large-scale atmospheric conditions that produced those historic seasons are present right now, and they will remain present through peak season, which runs through June. We are currently in the heart of it. Here is what you need to do today. Not this weekend. Today. Know your shelter location right now before any storm is on the radar. Your lowest floor, an interior room, away from all windows. If you are in a mobile home anywhere in the central or southern United States, identify a nearby permanent structure before the next warning drops. Mobile homes are not shelter. They never have been. Set up layered alerts on your phone. A storm app that rings like a phone call, not a banner notification you sleep through. No AA weather radio if you have one. Because with NWS offices operating short-staffed and some balloon launches being skipped, your personal alert setup may matter more this year than it ever has before. Charge your devices every night. A dead phone during a nighttime tornado warning is not a phone. It is a liability. If you have elderly relatives, neighbors who live alone, or family members in mobile homes anywhere across the central or southern United States, call them. This week. Not after the next outbreak. This week. The season is not winding down. The pattern is not breaking. The next system is already building. America is not under attack from nature the way that phrase is usually used, but the combination of an unusually active severe weather season, a weakened warning infrastructure, and a forecasting environment where critical data is being degraded before our eyes, that combination is real. It is documented. It is happening right now, and it deserves your complete attention. Stay informed. Stay ready. And share this with anyone you know who lives in the storm belt, because the next 30 days are not going to be quiet.